And we talked about one of the things that the Cowboys needed, a concern, physical presence, a true number 2, but the physical presence. There's really no physical presence on the team and outside of CD Lamb for real. But Xavier Legette, I mean, you want physical, you want a physical presence. 6'1", 221, measured a little smaller in the sense of height than I thought. They were listing him at like 6'3", but ran a 4.49, and he plays like 221, running a 4.4 out there, man. He is a prototype wide receiver. Raw, late bloomer, but boy, did he bloom, Foots.
So I'm gonna say this, guys. When I watched his film, some of the guys that like I love Malachi Corley and I love some of these other guys. But when I watched his film, I said, man, you know what? This is your yak receiver. That's not a small body. Let me ask you this. What did you think about him after the catch, Sky? No, I want to hear your thoughts.
No, that's so funny you brought up yak, because when I was here, I'm trying to put the film on. When I was writing down notes, I was like, you don't really see too many 221-pound wide receivers that can get yak like he does. He'll run through you. Yeah. He'll run by you. He won't necessarily run around you unless it's speed-wise. Like, he'll run away from you, but I wouldn't say he has fluid hips to, just But when you're that big and that strong and that fast, how many corners and DBs are going to want to try to tackle you, high? Not many. So I'm not saying he's like a yak king like these other dudes, but you nailed it. For a bigger guy, ain't too many 220-pound dudes in this draft that gets the yak like he does.
When you dive into his story, so here's the deal with him. Been at South Carolina all 4 years. First 3 years, between quarterback play, O-line play, coaching, the whole nine. Late bloomer. Yeah. It was kind of up and down. Yeah. Spencer Rattler transfers in. Spencer Rattler's first year, it was okay. He got in the lab before his senior year and every day worked with Spencer Rattler. Like they documented this they just went all out and they said, you know what, we're gonna make this last year our best deal. In the UNC tape, if you just watch the UNC tape, you will draft him in the first round in the top 15 pick. But obviously that's not how the draft works. But that game, literally, he made every catch. He was South Carolina's offense. And so you kind of like to hear some of that stuff. It's like, okay, here's a guy who will work hard, figure it out, will stay through adversity, and when his time came, it hit. So that's also a good thing as well. Like there's so many different, like it's going to be, that's what I mean by these receivers. You got to go deep with everybody. Washington was at Northwestern. Burton, he was at Georgia. This guy, he just stayed and did his thing. So you got to figure out what's the reason why, because you see first round tape from last year, but you got to, with him, you do need to reimagine, because I'm not asking him to run the full route tree year one. He can't do that. I wouldn't ask him to do that.
Yep, I had here. He's not going to wow you as a route runner yet. But that'll need some refining. But he'll make those tough intermediate catches and get behind you deep and win those 50-50 balls. So if you're a team that, no risk it, no biscuit type, that's your guy. That's one of them. There's another guy we're going to talk about here soon, but that's one of your guys.
Yeah, no, totally. So I mean, when it comes to Burton, man, when it comes to Legette, I thought that the Senior Bowl was cool. I thought that with him, he's more of a gamer than a practice setting player. I think that, it has to be full go. You have to get into the game, and as the game goes on, even the Georgia tape, he starts getting catches. They start having to tackle. He starts leaning on guys. And then before you know it, he makes a big play. But I really I love Xavier Legette.